Hi Core 4, how are you? I hope you've had a great day. I hope the split lunch went well and that you've enjoyed a stress-free Monday. It was nice to have a weekend where the weather was good, so hopefully you got out and enjoyed some non-zero temperatures. As you can see, I am not there. I will not be back in the building until the earliest Friday, so I am sorry about that. I will miss all of you, and we will be doing these video lessons at least for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in some manner. So what I've asked you to do is to open up the slides in Notability and then have a split screen where you have this video to play and you can follow along with the video. So let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about functions in graphs, in tables, and in something called a function map, which you may or may not have ever used. So far this year, we've used rules that will end up relating two variables to make a graph or a table. So for example, the linear function y is equal to 5x minus 3 will relate the input variable of x to the output variable of y. Today we're going to take a closer look at the rules that govern input and output in functions and help them to establish whether or not they are a function or they are not a function. And that is the goal of our lesson, is to understand what is a function and consequently what is not and why. So before we begin, let's have a little warm up for our brains and do some graphing. What I'd like you to do right now is to pause this video and answer the questions, draw the graphs, and then when you're done, come back and take a look at how you did. So welcome back. For each of the examples below, we're going to sketch a rough graph of the situation as it's described. So this first one in the yellow, we have a graph that is neither increasing or decreasing, which would mean our graph would look something like that. Straight across, it is not increasing or decreasing at all. For the next one, we have a graph that is going to decrease non-linearly. Non-linearly means not in a straight line. So a graph like that could look something like that. It is a curved graph, so that makes it non-linear. For the green one, they're asking for a graph that is going to increase and then decrease. The increase and the decrease both being linear relationships. So that could end up looking something like this for our increase of a linear function and then decrease in a linear, which means straight line function. For the last one in the purple, it just says that it increases linearly. So I'm going to draw a proportional relationship like that. So the question at hand is, are these all functions? We will soon find out. A function machine. So you may have seen this back in elementary school. You might have had some math boxes that had this type of stuff in it, and you would put your functions, put your information in and chug, and it would come back out. So a function machine works kind of like that. You put something in, one thing at a time, it chugs, and then it determines the unique output for whatever the input variable value was. So for our example, we are putting in x is equal to 4 into our function machine, and we have 5 times 4 minus 7. So we have 20 minus 7, and that hopefully is equal to 13. So we would end up with a unique point on our graph that would be represented by 4, 13. This is the unique value for our function when x is equal to 4. All right, moving on. So because the value 4, 8 is unique for this function, and there are no other values for when x is equal to 4, this is a function. So let's take a closer look at what that actually means. Here we have two relationships that are XY relationships. We'll call this one on the left A, and we'll call this one on the right B. When we take a look at A, we can see that this is a parabola, meaning the exponent that's assigned to x is squared. The table represents the values. When we put in -3, we chug, 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 and we come back out. Put in -2, we chug, 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 and come back out. I don't know if that's right or not. Yeah, I guess it is. -1, chug, 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 come back out. And then, when we go ahead and we graph this, you can see that for each input, there is a unique output that's followed. So this is a function. And the reason being that there is one unique output for each input that goes into our function. When we take a look at B, this is not a function. You can see that we have flip-flopped the y and the x values. So now we have a function of x as it's determined by the y value. This causes our parabola to go on its side. So it is more of a long C. When we do this, you can see that when you have certain values, you have multiple outcomes. For instance, when you have the value of 7 as an input, or as an output rather, your inputs are completely different. It's not a function. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at that because it can be really confusing. A function has a unique output, which is the y value, for each input, which is the x value. That's the rule. Let's break it down a little bit. To better understand the rule, we're going to have 3 ways to find functions: the line test, the table test, the map test. We are going to start with the line test. So for graphs are super easy. If you can get a graph, you want a graph. What's going on? The graph line test says a graph is a function when you can draw a line 3 times during the life of the function and only cross the graphed line 1 time. So I want you to come over here again. This is A. When we're taking a look at these purple lines here, you can see that as we draw our lines and we come straight down, we are only crossing the graph 1 time, 1 unique time. Right here, and right here. Meaning for each input, there's 1 unique output. When we move over to the second graph, which would be our graph B from before, and we take a look at that, as we go through our graph and we do our line test, and we come straight through, you can see even after the first line, we cross through 2 times, 1 time and a second time, meaning that there are 2 values for the input. We cross the line twice, here and here. We cross the line twice, here and here. I'm a big fan of the line test because I think it's the easiest one. You really don't need to think too much about it. You're just drawing 3 different lines and you're trying to extend from one side to the other 3 times as best as you can. Sometimes you may only be able to do 2, and that's fine. And you're trying to determine, do you just cross over 1 time? So let's practice a few. Again, why don't you pause this and come back, and then we will go over them together. Okay, welcome back. So, as we draw our lines, I'm going to make some lines here in red. I think actually I'll use my highlighter in red. We're going to try to go through this. 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll come back up and we'll take a look. It is clear to me that we have crossed over multiple times. Therefore, the circle is not a function. Let's go ahead and do the last one next. We'll get back to the middle one. We're going to just cross over one time here. One time. And another time. You can clearly see that we cross the line one time for each unique input. So this, in fact, yes, is a function. So let's go ahead and take a look at this last one. When you have something that is more of a scatter plot, you want to kind of find your lines based on your dots to see if you're intersecting with any other dots. So in this case, I would draw many more than 3 lines to make sure I have checked each individual case to assure myself that I've looked at every possible scenario. And this, excuse me, is, yes, a function. So that is the line test. Hopefully you have no questions, and that was pretty self-explanatory. And we will move on. So we're going to move on to tables. Tables, honestly, would be my least favorite. I think they're a little bit confusing. It's super easy to miss something. So we will try to break it up a little bit and take a look at each one of them so that we can get a better idea of what we have in front of us. Okay? So for our very first one, when we take a look at our values, what are you seeing? What do you think? Let's take a look at some of our values inside our table. I see that we have a 7, but no other 7 as I go through, and no other -2 or 0, 4, 9, 13, or 6. So I am actually putting in a unique value for X each time and getting out a unique value for Y each time, which means that this pink one on the top is, yes, a function. So that can, of course, feel a little bit, I think, confusing, like I said. So we're going to take a look at 2 more scenarios. Let's take a look at the one on the bottom that has 3 and 4 as our very first numbers, the purple one. So as I look through, I'm looking for X's that have been repeated. There is no 3, there is no -1, but there is a 2 and another 2. So I have to look at the outputs. For this 2, the output is 9. For this 2, the output is -8. So that means for each input, I do not have a unique output. I have 2 different outputs, which means this one is not a function. So take a look at that for a second. Go back, look at it one more time. Make sure that you understand why that's a function for the first one and why it's not a function, I'm sorry, for the second one. So let's take a look at the next one. As we're going through, this is the green one. We have a -8, and you can see we have a second -8. What is the value here? It's 11. And what is the value here? It's 11. So what has happened here? We've just repeated a value in our table. This is what we call a trick question. This, in fact, is, yes, a function. You can repeat the value in the table. I don't know why you would, but you certainly can. So again, I think tables are my least favorite. I just find them to be a little bit harder. There's a lot more information to take a look at. All right. Any questions? I guess I can't answer that, so we will move on. Next up is the map test. I kind of like the map test. I think it's fun. This is the map test. You use the map test when you have input and output values in what we call a bubble map. That's what this looks like this one below. Again, you're looking at your input values and you're looking at your output values, and you're trying to see if you have a line from the input that goes just to one output. And as you can see, we have that clearly here. So is this a function? Absolutely, yes, totally a function. Let's move to the next one. All right, function or not. So we'll start on the bottom. 8 goes to 7, 0 goes to 5, but you can clearly see that 4 will have an output of 1, -4, and an output of 2. So for the input -4, we have 2 different outputs, not one unique. So this is not a function. All right, moving on. Function or not? All right, so -3 maps to 7. Okay, -7. -2 maps to -5. 0 maps to -5. That's okay, right? Because these are 2 different unique inputs. 4 goes to -3. This, yes indeed, is a function. You have 2 different inputs going to the same output. That is okay. Versus the slide before, which had 1 input and 2 unique outputs. All right, next up. So you have some R&P to work on. It is problems from the book. Some of them are review problems. Some of them are unique. Your job is to download the R&P. I think there's 4 questions. Maybe there's 3. I don't remember. And you are to complete that and turn it in today in class. It is due today. We're going to be doing things a tiny bit different this week. So due on Friday, due today. I'll be checking in the morning to see who hasn't turned in their homework. And if you have any questions, you can email me, and we can have a little bit of a conversation back and forth for that. Hopefully you did okay and this made sense. It can be a little bit confusing, but I am sure you will be able to get it. You are in your teams. Definitely use the knowledge of those sitting around you to help your knowledge increase and to increase theirs also. So I'm proud of you. I know you're doing a great job and the best that you can. And I will chat with you tomorrow.